Attention, passionate Dallas Cowboys fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East, and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Dallas Cowboys' path to another championship run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before we dive in, if you're a true Dallas Cowboys fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and fellow Dallas Cowboys fans. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, if you've been paying attention to the Cowboys in recent weeks, you know that things haven't exactly been smooth sailing. We've seen highs, we've seen lows, but what's happening now? Well, it's causing quite a stir, especially with one of the key players in the secondary. I am talking about Trevon Diggs, a guy who has been a cornerstone for Dallas' defense since he arrived, but who now seems to be facing a period of uncertainty and quite possibly the end of his time in Dallas. And trust me, this isn't just about one injury, this is about the future of the defense, the division, and perhaps even the team's chances at a deep playoff run. Let us back up a bit and look at what transpired. Last week, Trevon Diggs was listed on the injury report with a concussion. Now, the details surrounding how he got this concussion came out a little later, and honestly, it's a bit of a mystery. It was revealed that Diggs suffered the concussion in some kind of accident at his home, but what exactly happened remains unclear. All we know is that he came in on a Friday morning with concussion symptoms. The team's head coach, Brian Schottenheimer, confirmed that Diggs had been checked out by doctors and that he was in the concussion protocol, which means he would miss the upcoming game. For Cowboys fans, that already raised red flags because losing Diggs for a second straight game is a significant blow to a defense that has been struggling mightily. But here's where things get even more concerning. On that same Friday, Cowboys Executive Vice President Stephen Jones made some statements that sent alarm bells ringing. During his appearance on 105.3 The Fan, Jones said that Diggs had several things going on that pertain to past injuries, and that a trip to injured reserve isn't off the table for him. Now, that's a serious statement. It suggests that Diggs isn't just dealing with a concussion, but possibly with other lingering issues, and that his injury situation might be more complicated than initially thought. According to Jones, he has had several things going on that pertain to past injuries, and that they're going to look at that situation further, potentially placing him on injured reserve. This is huge, folks. If Diggs lands on injured reserve before the Week 8 game against the Denver Broncos, he'd be out until at least Week 13, considering the Cowboys have a bye in Week 10. And that's if he even returns this season. The implications are serious, because when we talk about injured reserve, it's not just a matter of a few weeks off. It's about the entire season potentially lost, especially for a player who has already had a history of knee issues. Diggs tore his ACL in 2023, and last season he dealt with unrelated knee problems that required surgery. While the latest injury report doesn't list him with a knee issue. That doesn't mean much. Sometimes these things aren't immediately reflected in the official reports. Now, for Cowboys fans, the big question is, could this really be the end of Diggs' tenure in Dallas? When Stephen Jones was asked if Diggs might have played his last game in Dallas, he didn't exactly shoot down the possibility. Instead, he said the team hasn't even gone there yet, which leaves the door wide open for the possibility that Diggs might not be back in 2025. That's a bombshell in itself, because let us face it, Diggs is a talented corner, but since signing his extension, he has not quite been the same dominant force we saw earlier in his career. In fact, his overall effectiveness has come under scrutiny, and injuries have played a part in that decline. If Diggs does end up on injured reserve and misses the rest of the season, it's quite possible that he has played his last game in Dallas. And for a player of his caliber, that's a tough pill to swallow. The Cowboys are already struggling with their pass defense, which ranks as the worst in the league. Kaiir Elam, who was supposed to be a major piece on the boundary, has had his own struggles, and now with Diggs potentially out long-term, the team's secondary is in a precarious position. This puts even more pressure on the coaching staff and management to make some tough decisions, especially with the NFL trade deadline approaching on November 4. Now, considering the team's current struggles, it's clear that they're going to be looking for help at cornerback. The need is urgent, and the trade deadline could be the moment Dallas makes some bold moves. Rumors are swirling that the Cowboys might be in the mix for some trade targets, especially since their secondary has been so porous. Some reports even suggest that they could be fighting with other NFC East rivals like the Eagles for some of these players. The Dallas defense, which was once a strength, has become a glaring weakness, particularly against the pass. And with Diggs possibly out for the season, or at least until Week 13, what options do they have? Well, they could look to the trade market, and it's likely they'll be exploring some of the prominent names available. The trade deadline always brings a flurry of rumors, and this year is no different. Reports have indicated that the Cowboys are considering their options, especially given the struggles of Kyer Elam and the potential loss of Diggs. They might even be eyeing some players who could step into a significant role right away. The challenge is, of course, whether Dallas' management will find the right fit and be willing to pay the price. But one thing is for sure, the team is in a critical window, and the front office is well aware that they need to shore up their secondary if they want to make a real push in the playoffs. And then, there's the broader picture. The NFC East has always been a competitive division, and now with these injury issues, the division race could get even more unpredictable. The Eagles are looking strong, and the Giants and Commanders are always lurking, but the Cowboys have a chance to seize the moment if they can adapt quickly. The upcoming weeks are crucial. They'll test the resilience of this team, especially their defensive backfield. If they can find a way to patch things up before the trade deadline, it might mean relying more on their younger players or even making a bold trade to bring in veteran help. But what about Trevon Diggs himself? Well, that's another story. The possibility that he might not play again in 2024 and perhaps not in Dallas at all is now a real concern. Given his injury history and the overall drop in his effectiveness since signing that extension, the Cowboys will need to evaluate whether it's worth keeping him long-term. If he is placed on injured reserve and doesn't contribute for the rest of the season, it could be a turning point in his career and in how the team views their investment in him. Let us also remember that this isn't just about one player. It's about the identity of the Dallas Cowboys defense. Since their Super Bowl winning days, the team has always been built around a tough, aggressive defense. But right now, their pass defense is giving up the most yards in the league, and that has to be addressed. With Diggs potentially on the shelf, the pressure on other corners and safeties intensifies. And it's not just about filling a roster spot. It's about rethinking the entire secondary strategy, especially with the trade deadline looming. And what about the fans? Well, I know many of you are feeling the same way. I am worried, anxious, but still hopeful that the Cowboys can turn things around. This team has a rich history of resilience, and even with these setbacks, there is still a chance to make a strong push. But it requires smart moves, both on and off the field, and a willingness to adapt quickly. The next few weeks will be critical. Every game counts, and how the team responds will define their season. Now, circling back to Trevon Diggs, I want to emphasize that this situation is still unfolding. The team's medical staff and front office are monitoring his condition closely. If he does end up on injured reserve, it's a significant blow, but the team will rally around the players available. The younger corners will get their shot, and the coaching staff will have to get creative with their scheme. It's a test of depth and resilience, and Dallas has faced tougher challenges before. So, as we look ahead, the key questions are: how will the Cowboys address their secondary needs before the trade deadline? Will they pull off a major move to acquire a veteran or promising young player? And most importantly, can this team overcome the injury setbacks and still contend for a deep playoff run? Those are the questions lingering in the minds of fans and analysts alike. And I promise you, the next few weeks will be pivotal in shaping the destiny of this Cowboys team. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What is your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cowboys. Do you think Diggs will return this season? Do you believe the team will make a trade to bolster the secondary? Or are you worried that these injuries might derail their playoff hopes? Let us know. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Dallas Cowboys news. We're in this together, and no matter what, the passion for this team keeps us going. Cowboys Nation, let us keep that fire alive. Thanks for watching, and as always, go Cowboys.